What's happening, gym owners? It's another crappy day here in Jersey, and it's raining and it's humid. I love it. Okay, but what I do love is content creation, right? And I love doing these little videos and kind of taking an idea on a topic and then using it. So I get a lot of questions about content creation. How do you guys create so much content? How do you constantly put stuff out? Look, here's how you keep it simple. You come up with one idea for a topic, right? Like something on content creation. We'll do a video like this. I'll do a post on it. We're gonna do a podcast on it. Hint, hint. Tomorrow, okay? And so you take an idea of what your content is, and you produce it for all media sources: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, maybe even nowadays, right? LinkedIn, right? All these platforms are becoming social platforms. But the idea of what the topic is, and then streamline it out from different medias, right? YouTube being a big one as well, right? I don't know if I mentioned that. So it's really important. So like, here's a couple topics, right? Super simple, right? Think about your demographic. If you train adult population, right? It's, ways to increase your energy. Why BMI why a high BMI leads to early death. 10 tips for losing that belly fat, right? How to fit into your summer jeans, right? You can go on a million different topics, right? It could be anything. Think about pulling ideas out of magazines that you read, Family Circle, right? It sounds funny, but my mother had gotten my wife a subscription to Family Circle, and there's tons of great articles in there on nutrition tips for the summer, recipes, things like that. It can literally be anything. Think about your demographic and the information that they want to consume. If it's a 40 to 60-year-old demographic of general population, moms and dads, and it's fitness, it's fun, it's lifestyle, it's getting outdoors, it's quick usable tips, it's an exercise that you think would help them, loosen up their lower back, right? And you could do that across multiple platforms. So it could be a couple pictures of an exercise on Instagram with a short description. It could be a video like this for Facebook that's 2 to 3, 4, 5 minutes, something like that. It could be a long discussion and multiple exercises for YouTube, 10 minutes even, right? And so you can film that, cut that up into multiple pieces, write an email on it, do a podcast on it, do a YouTube video, do a Facebook video, do an Instagram post, all from one idea of, how to, our key exercises for keeping your lower back in shape. If you sit at a desk all day, here's 5 things you need to be doing throughout the week to make sure that you don't get hurt, right? Things like that, right? Sitting is the new smoking, right? They keep saying that stuff. So like taking a content idea and then planning out how you're going to splice it up into different types of content for different media outlets, right? And thinking about the demographic of people that are on those outlets and what they're looking for and what they're trying to consume, right? YouTube is a search engine. People are looking for instruction. People are looking for information. You can put a lot more there. It can be long videos. It could be a half an hour of you going through a whole bunch of exercises specific for lower back protocol, right? Facebook, somewhere in the middle. People want a couple quick tips. It's 3 to 5. I'd say 3 minutes is probably your sweet spot, somewhere in that range, right? Instagram, you can't do more than a minute, so it's got to be fast. 2 or 3 things, a couple clip ups, right? Or even better, a series of pictures that you could do, right? Things like that. And podcasting, I think it's a great way for local businesses to separate themselves from the pack, right? Start doing a podcast to your community that people could subscribe to. People love consuming podcasts. It's super easy. I listen to them all the time in the car, when I'm driving. This weekend we're going upstate. It's a 3.5 hour, 4 hour ride. My wife and I will listen to a couple podcasts, maybe an audio book, right? Something along those lines. And it's a great way to consume information from people that you like and, maybe want to gain some knowledge in this particular area. That's what makes podcasts so great. I can listen to podcasts purely for entertainment, like a Joe Rogan or something like that. or I can listen to something that's more for specific, content and information, a marketing podcast, a business development podcast, whatever it might be, right? So podcasting is a great way to kind of produce content. Then if you do a podcast, you could take the gems like the voice clips out of there and make even more content out of them, right? And it just becomes, kind of a snowball effect. So it all starts with an idea, right? Who am I going to produce the content for? What's the topic? Who's it for? What am I gonna talk about, right? And what does the audience want from this? What's the main objective, right? Is it to help people? Is it to inspire people? Is it to educate? Is it to entertain and make people laugh, right? Come up with a couple ideas, rotate them, rotate the theme, periodically, and make it fun, make it awesome, and have fun creating content. Get together with your team. Divvy up content, right? If you got a star trainer, have them produce some stuff on training. If you got a guy who loves, the technical side of things, he can go do a deep dive on shoulder rehab or something like that. We have an on-site nutritionist, right? Create content on nutrition, recipes, private Facebook groups, right? And repurpose the content. Remember that old content is not old to people who haven't seen it. Right? So constantly repurpose old content as new content. Rewrite it a little bit, redo it a little bit. Maybe if you wrote an awesome email that you wrote a couple years ago, turn that email into a series of videos, right? So always taking a stock of your content and what you've done. We have all of our emails on a giant timeline, so I can look back literally 10 years and all right, that was a great email. And because we've been doing it on MailChimp or other similar platforms, I have the analytics, so I can just say, hey, I want the 10 best emails that we've ever done in terms of engagement and opening rates, and I'm going to repurpose all 10 of those this year for multiple social media contents and multiple avenues and things like that. You watch out in the next 6 months, and Varsity House is going to be producing a boatload of awesome content on both the training and the business side of things. And part of it comes from just, creating a whiteboard plan, coming up with 20, 30 topics. I've outlined topics for the Business of Strength for the next 4 years, right? That I think that everybody in the community of strength would really enjoy and like to hear about and is useful, right? Like a tip like this. How do I produce more content consistently? One idea, multiple streams. That's it. Cut it up into different types of content. Video is king, right? So I like doing videos. Why do I do the truck talk? Because it's simple for me. I'm in my truck twice a day going to and from work. I like to talk, right? So hit the go button and away I go, right? And I could yap for hours on a topic. So you let me know what you think, gang. Just DM me. If you need help producing content or you need help with some ideas, right? I'd love to meet you, love to speak to you, love to help you out and see how I can help. And content creation does not have to be hard. Remember, it doesn't have to always be like a Pulitzer Prize winning, a work of art either. Good content is consistent content in your own voice, in your own way, in a consistent manner that speaks to the demographic properly, right? So in this case, I'm speaking to other gym owners and strength entrepreneurs about organizing and streamlining their ability to create content. Whereas if you're speaking to your demographic, if you're a CrossFit gym and you got that like 20 to 40-year-old demographic, right, and you want to know how to improve your WODs, right, how to increase your Fran time and things like that, all those types of things, right? If you're a female-only gym, right? You can talk about specific female topics. If you're a Pilates studio or a yoga studio, you can talk about, breathing, how breathing affects flexibility and mobility. Anything, you can think about it, and you can go crazy on the content on one subject, right? So don't make it more difficult than it has to be. Write down a list of awesome topics that you think your people would want to hear about and start creating and have some fun with it and get your whole team involved and make it a team project where everybody's creating. People love creativity. People love to be creative. It's one of the, also, here's a little insider tip. It's one of the best ways to keep your gym community and your staff happy. Remember, it's not always about money. It's about creativity, expression of self. It's about a great workplace, a fun environment, right? Creating cool things makes people happy. Trust me on that one, I promise you. We strive very hard to allow our staff to have this creative outlet where they get to put their thumb on something and be like, oh, look what I did, right? And that goes for every single person in the gym, right? Every single one of our trainers and every single one of our staff members is involved in content creation, so it's really important. So get out there and create.